Hello everyone, my name is Brian, but you can call me the Bugler, and I'll be your host for our Destiny 2 Warlock's Best in Show video. In this video, I'll be telling you what I believe the best subclass and skill trees are for the categories that we have chosen. So the categories are the best PvE Ad control super, the most orbs created by a super, the best PvP subclass and skill tree, and finally, the highest single target damage caused by a super. So let's get started. For our first category, the best PvE Ad control super, we have an honorable mention, and it's the only category in this video that does have one. The honorable mention for best PvE Ad control super goes to the Stormcaller, and it's really this subclass as a whole, because both skill trees have access to the same excellent super, Stormtrance, which deals with groups of enemies in a very special way. When you hit enemies with Stormtrance, not only are you hitting the enemy that you're initially aiming at, it also chains quite a bit to all the enemies around, allowing you to take out entire groups in a very short amount of time. For that reason, this subclass deserves the honorable mention here, and it was really close between picking this subclass as a whole and our winner. But there is a reason why I picked the winner, and we'll get to it in a second. So let's talk about who won. And the award for Best PvE Ad Control Super goes to the DAWNBLADE Warlock's Attunement of Flame skill tree. Now before you bite my head off about this, let me explain why. We can attribute this win to 3 skills in this skill tree that modify how your super behaves. We have Fated for Flame, Everlasting Fire, and Phoenix Dive. Specifically, Phoenix Dive and Everlasting Fire play a big part here. When used during your super, Phoenix Dive creates an elemental explosion. Thanks to Everlasting Fire, this will also refill your super bar. Phoenix Dive does not cost any super energy, so provided you have enough enemies nearby you, you can keep this super going basically forever. As long as there are ads to kill, this super will be there to kill them, and that's why this is our winner. Let's move on to the next category. The award for most orbs created by a super goes to the Voidwalker subclass, and this is an interesting case because as long as you have the super modifiers unlocked for both skill trees, you're able to circumvent the 5 orb limit that the other skill trees and subclasses are confined to. I was able to generate up to 7 orbs using both skill trees. Let's take a look at some examples. In this example, I launch my Cataclysm Nova Bomb towards this group of enemies. After it explodes, the Seekers jump off, kill some additional enemies, and grant 3 more orbs on top of the 4 orbs I gained from the Nova Bomb's explosion. It's not exactly the cleanest footage, but it's the best footage I can get of 7 orbs using Cataclysm. Here's a little bit cleaner footage, although I only generate 6 orbs in this case. And for the Attunement of Hunger skill tree using the Vortex modifier, I managed to capture another Guardian getting 7 orbs with it directly in my line of sight, which makes for much cleaner viewing than anything I could manage. So, submitted for your approval is 7 orbs created by the Vortex super. Which leads us to our next category. The award for Best PvP subclass and skill tree goes to the Voidwalker Warlock's Attunement of Hunger skill tree. This was a clear winner, and I attribute this win specifically to 2 skills, Feed the Void and Insatiable. Feed the Void allows us to proc Devour whenever we'd like by consuming a grenade, and Insatiable allows us to keep Devour active and also re-proc it on any kill. Now, the melee ability will also trigger Devour when we get a kill with it. It doesn't play as big of a part here, but it is worth mentioning. So let me make the case for you, starting with that melee ability. In this situation, I get a kill with the melee ability, which allows me to survive something that I shouldn't have. The extra damage after I kill this enemy would have killed me had I not been healed by Devour. But the main reason why this skill tree was such a clear winner for me is because of the skill Feed the Void, which allows us to consume our grenade in order to heal ourselves and grant the Devour effect. If you're getting outgunned, all you have to do is step aside, heal yourself, and finish the enemy that you had already damaged with an overwhelming amount of health. It's something that a lot of players aren't necessarily expecting, and a very invaluable tool. I considered my grenade to be like a health kit that I could use on demand, and really trick some players into following me thinking I was low, where I would turn around with full health and completely annihilate them. In addition to this, thanks to Insatiable, any kill you get while the Devour effect is active will see your health restored, grant you some grenade energy, and reset that Devour timer. So don't feel bad about consuming your grenade. As long as you're getting some kills with the Devour effect active, you're mitigating that long cooldown. Now let's talk about the super's applicability in PvP. The super modifier is called Vortex, and it leaves a damaging overtime vortex in the wake of your Nova Bomb. You're not going to see many kills from the vortex itself because a lot of players aren't dumb enough to run straight into a damaging vortex. However, the Nova Bomb is excellent, and the vortex does work as an area of denial effect, so you can use it that way. But where I found the most value in this Nova Bomb was shutting down enemy supers. You can kill any super in the game with a well-placed Nova Bomb. So I found myself holding on to my Nova Bomb and using it almost as the fun police. Anytime someone charged me or my team with an active super, I would stuff them right in the face with this Nova Bomb and make sure that they weren't having any fun. So I had quite a bit of fun. And now is the point in the video where I ask you not to bite my head off about this decision. I don't think this is a controversial opinion. I have a feeling that a lot of players agree with me on this one. But if you don't, let me know in the comments. I'd love to have a discussion with you about which subclass and skill tree you think is best for PvP. PvP is a little bit different than the other categories because in a lot of cases it's subjective. No two games will be exactly the same, so you may find value in another subclass or skill tree that I didn't. So if that's the case, let me know. Let's move on to an objective topic now. The highest single target damage caused by a super. And the award goes to the Stormcaller Warlock's Attunement of Conduction skill tree, and it's thanks to the skill Transcendence. If you cast Storm Trance with full grenade and melee energy, your health will be fully restored and Storm Trance will last longer. Without Transcendence, you're able to deal 30 ticks of damage, but with it, you're able to deal up to 38, which is enough to outdamage the version of Storm Trance with Landfall. What you're about to see is an example of how to use this super poorly. But I like this example because the amount of damage we deal is actually comparable to the max amount of damage we could have dealt before the buff. In this example, we deal 29 ticks of 323 damage, for a total of 9,367. If we had hit for all 38 ticks, we would have dealt 12,274 damage, making this not only the highest damaging Warlock super, but the second highest damaging super in the game right now. Not only that, because of its chaining capabilities, we get to share this extremely high amount of damage between entire groups of enemies, making it extremely effective at killing groups of enemies, which is why it was so hard to not award this also the best ad control super in the game. That's the end of all the formal awards, but let's talk about what I think the most fun skill tree is for the Warlock in the game right now. I think that award goes to the Attunement of Hunger skill tree for the Voidwalker. To put it simply, this skill tree is just really good, and fun to use because of that. Every single skill is being utilized here. It doesn't feel like there's anything wasted. They all play off one another, similar to the Siegebreaker Titan in that regard. And because of its crazy self-sustain, you're able to do some things that would normally take entire teams of Guardians being very cautious about to accomplish. Because of that instant heal, you're able to tank some serious damage, making the Warlock probably the most effective tank in the game of all things. Even in PvP, I found myself smiling sometimes. Because of the ability to heal myself on demand, and Insatiable granting me that health recharge every time I get a kill with Devour active, I was able to survive situations where I would normally be completely rolled by the enemy team, and I found it to be, dare I say, fun? It's weird for me to play PvP and find myself actually enjoying it the way I did when using the Devour Warlock. And that's really something to take away here. If this skill tree could make me have fun in PvP, I know that it really did deserve this award, and that's the reason why I didn't award it to the Attunement of Elements skill tree for the Stormcaller, which is very close for a runner-up. I enjoy using that skill tree a lot, but it's because of this skill tree's ability to make me happy in every game mode that I use it in, that I had to award it this award. Which brings us to the end of our show. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any opinions on the subclasses or skill trees that I chose for these awards, please let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, I'd especially love to hear from you. We all have different opinions when it comes to things like this, so I really want to know what yours is. For my next video, I'm looking to do an exotic breakdown, and I want to put this video out before Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I won't be able to do any work on these videos, so I want to get one more out before then. Let me know in the comments what exotic you want me to break down. I was leaning towards the Shinobu's Vow because I've gotten a lot of comments asking me to do it, but if I get an overwhelming result for a different exotic, I'd be happy to do that one as well. I won't be going live on Twitch tonight because I'm looking to get started with my testing as soon as possible. But if you'd like to follow my Twitch channel so you get notified when I do go live, you can find a link to that in this video's description. You can also find a link to our Discord server, clan page, and Patreon. So once again, thanks for watching, I hope I see you next time, and good luck getting through the exclusion zone.